As everybody knows by now, Donald Trump was denied his request this week for a stay on having to pay the 400 and what is it now, 64 million that he owes to the state of New York as a result of the verdict against him from Judge Arthur Engoron. The appellate division decided, nope, we're not going to give you a break on it, and no, we're not going to accept the $100 million counter offer that you've made. You got to pay the full thing, and if you're having trouble raising the money, they said, why don't you go ask the banks to lend you some? So, pretty cold ruling. But part of the reason that the court decided to not allow Donald Trump to just pay $100 million and move on is because of something that was put in the counter argument for the state prosecutors. See, it turns out, prosecutors pointed out in their counter filing to Donald Trump's filing, that Trump has already been shifting his assets and many times has actually shielded them from the court-appointed financial monitor that is supposed to oversee and basically approve all of the movements of the Trump organization. What is this? Let me see. Sorry, forgot the name of the individual here. Dennis Fan, a senior assistant solicitor general at the Attorney General's office. Here is what he wrote to the court in their counter argument. There is substantial risk that defendants will attempt to evade enforcement of the judgment or make enforcement more difficult following appeal. After the court issued its February 16th order, defendants announced for the first time that various Trump Organization entities operating in New York are allegedly now located in Florida. As the court recognized earlier in this case, there is unfortunately a distinct need to ensure that defendants do not dissipate their assets or transfer them out of this jurisdiction. Even with the independent monitor that they now tout, defendants have already during this action surreptitiously transferred $40 million from their accounts without disclosing the transfer to the monitor in violation of the Supreme Court's orders. So the prosecutors in New York are pointing out to the appellate court, and again, they won, but they're saying, listen, you cannot let this guy off the hook. You cannot accept anything less than the full amount because he's already trying to shift money into jurisdictions where we cannot get it. He's moving it from New York to Florida. So if it comes down to us having to seize his assets, if they're not in New York, if the business is not in New York, we can't do that. So do not give him more time because he will continue shifting assets. He will continue violating the state Supreme Court order to get everything approved by the monitor. And the court said, you're right. Now, this is the part of the story, of course, that has largely been ignored, right? Everybody's been focused on, Trump didn't get his $100 million. He's got to pay the full amount. But it's the reasoning why. What Trump is doing here, and what the prosecutors are alleging that he has already done, and reports have already said he's done this because the reporter did tell Engoron this, he's violated the orders of the Supreme Court. How is that not additional criminal charges? Anybody that can explain that to me, I'm all ears. Because let's see, if a state Supreme Court told you to do something, told me to do something, and then we didn't do it, guess what's going to happen to us? We're going to be criminally prosecuted. Trump already violated that. $40 million he snuck out of his accounts under the nose of that court-appointed monitor without approval. Where's the criminal charges? This is easy. This is cut and dry. He is shifting assets. He's moving businesses from New York to Florida, at least on paper. How is this even happening without criminal charges being filed against him? I'm glad the appellate division decided to not let him get away with only paying $100 million, but I'm kind of getting pissed off that this man continues to flout the law, to throw it back in their faces, to violate their orders, and still nothing happens to him. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.